What's up guys, it's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Buildit video. Today we're going to be doing a video on the side pass and a couple of tips for you guys this week for the contest. So before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I do put videos out daily and we just reached like 1,650 something subscribers. So we're almost to that 2,000 mark. If you have any friends that play SimCity Buildit, you're more than welcome to add them to the Facebook page, SimCity Buildit MissyAnne, or just share the channel in general on any platform to get the word out. You know, on Facebook, Reddit, anything like that. You know, it supports the channel and it's a huge help for me. Okay, so you've already hit that like and subscribe button. Awesome. And let's get started. So, let's see here. Okay. This is the side pass for this week. Now, a lot of you guys pretty much, you know the routine. Basically, you're going to do assignments, make in-game purchases, or get the plumb bob points from doing house upgrades, in-game purchases, or from the contest mayor's assignments. Now, a lot of you guys are familiar with these buildings if you have been playing the game for a while. They are some old past buildings. I don't know if anybody here has seen the there's a video where I go through and I show like all of the past mayor's buildings, which is actually a really badass video if you wanted to watch it. But these two buildings are from previous mayor's passes, and they are actually pretty decent buildings. They're just carnival rides, basically. So let's go through the past. We've got a 3,000 simoleons. Now you do want to make sure that you collect these rewards before the pass ends. This one I do not believe adds to your inventory. I think they just take it from you if you don't collect it, whereas the other passes, they give you a notification that says, you know, this was added to your inventory, and they allow you to claim the rewards. Now, you also get 5 llama speed tokens. And another thing, you guys, on the other passes, if you guys see that there's no amount, you can hold down on it and it tells you. So on this pass, it tells you, you know, right away, but on the other ones, you can just hold down on them. Okay. So 5 silver tokens. I'll wait till the end of the pass to collect those so that I can continue to collect the ones off the top of my buildings. Then we've got the big lake, which is, you know, you can't really go hard, you know, bad with water. Like, come on. How do you go wrong with giving water? You know, that stuff's expensive and you can never have enough water. Or at least I can't. Okay, let's see here. 5 gold keys. Save this for when you have a gold keys assignment. The storage items. Now, I would just save them until you have enough to do your upgrade. That way you don't have to take up unnecessary space with your inventory. You can just, that's 9 space you can save just leaving it sit there until the end of the pass or until you can upgrade. Then we've got the robot ride. This thing kind of like spins around, if I remember correctly. It's kind of hard to see it as you, with everything in SimCity. It's like super tiny. Regional simoleons, 500 random regional simoleons. If you're following the Missy's Building Guide, you guys, as you know, or as many of you should know, everything that you cannot use right now that you collect from the passes will be available to you once you unlock that feature in the game. You'll have all of those saved up rewards. So don't worry about, you know, missing out on anything. Okay, platinum keys. You can collect these right away as there is no benefit to leaving them sit. There's, you know, they don't affect your inventory and there's no assignment for them. The next thing would be simscash. Now, the only time I tell people to hold off on collecting simscash is if you're somebody who has issues with accidental in-game purchases, and so then I would just say leave it, you know, uncollected, and that way you don't have to worry about accidentally spending it. Other than that, you can go ahead and collect that right away, And then you have the drop tower, which is one of those rides where I believe, I think it's one of the rides where people like sit in those bucket things and it goes to the top and then drops you down. It's kind of hard to tell in the photo. And honestly, I don't have these buildings, so I don't remember what they look like when they get put out. I know that they're both relatively small, so they will be a little difficult to see, but they do match the whole theme that we got going on this pass. So for those of you guys who wanted to know what the pirate ship thing looks like when it's out, I'm going to go ahead and put it out for you guys. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I thought it was going to be a little bit better than that, to be honest with you. Maybe a little larger, or have the pirate ship look a little more like piratey. I don't know. So yeah, that was kind of a letdown, disappointment. It's not that great, to be honest with you. But the other buildings are actually halfway decent. You've got the safari ride, which is actually kind of cool. And then I do like the teacups. I put mine right here as like kind of like an entrance thing, honestly, I think it looks good where it's at. Let's see, what else do we got? We have this thing here. This is relatively new, that haunted house thing. Now, it's pretty small, but it's better than some of the buildings, I should say. Quite a few of the buildings. And that is basically it for right now. The ones that look interesting to me are the last two, so I'm definitely going to have to, make sure that I do my assignments, because I always fall asleep like that. When I don't play COM competitively, I don't take it as seriously. I just want to make sure that I finish this pass for sure and not slack off too much. Okay, so for those of you guys who play the contest of mayors but you don't play competitively, it's the same general concept. I've had a lot of people ask how many points is it to get to the end of the mayor's pass. It's 611,000 points. So, divide it into however many weeks you play, and try to remember that the last week is double points week, so you can make up a lot of slack on the last week, but don't cut yourself too short, otherwise you may not be able to hit the last couple tiers. Okay, so the tips that I was going to give you guys for the contest of mayors, there's a couple of tips for streaks, and I've talked about some of them in the previous videos, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a refresher here. So the rest of the video is just going to be about streaks for the contest, and then I'll do a different video for some of the other stuff I want to talk about today. Okay, so for streaks, the very first thing that I want to address is if you begin the week in reverse rotation, which means that you basically have all low-valued assignments, low-valued premiums and low-valued non-premiums. A lot of people will, they'll try to go to the streaks because they don't want to take less points, in their list. They're like, well, the game's not giving me good assignments, I'm just going to go for the streak so I don't drop my average. Do not do that. It's not worth it. So here's what happens during the contest. During the contest of mayors, usually what happens is you start the week off with a wide variety of assignments. So you've got your main tasks, the ones that sit above 2,000 points, and usually that consists of about 3 or 4 tasks in the list, and then you have your lower valued tasks. And typically the idea is that you do all of your main tasks first, and consistently, rotating out main tasks for main tasks until you run out of main tasks. And then you would rotate your rotatable options to make more main tasks appear. That's the general concept. But what happens when you start the week off and you don't really have any main tasks? Now, this doesn't typically happen, but when it does happen, there's basically two ways that the contest of mayors works. Is at the beginning of the week, you have your uptime, okay, where you just get pretty much good assignments and you're doing really well. Then you have a period in the contest where your assignments start to go down. You know, you start to get crappy assignments, and then usually it's kind of like a roller coaster. You go up and then down and then up and then down, and it just kind of keeps you at a smooth, 2K average right around there. But sometimes what ends up happening is instead of starting where you're going up, you start going down. That's the beginning of the contest. So it appears as though that, you're doing really, really bad, and that the contest of mayors is doing, it's not giving you anything good. And so what people will do is they will try to combat that with, doing the streaks first, and that way they don't have to look at a low score. Then what happens is during your uptime is now your downtime, because the game thinks that you have too many points. And so it just continues to give you garbage. So now, instead of the contest saying, okay, we're going to give her garbage for the first half and then give her decent tasks, instead of it doing that, it says, well, we were giving you garbage, then you had some points boost, and now we're just going to continue to give you garbage, right? So you either have an uptime and a downtime, or you either have downtime and uptime. But when you start doing the streaks, that's when you start messing with things. I'm telling you guys, when you guys do those streaks, it boosts your score up to the point where the game is going to continue to give you garbage. Do not allow the game to do that to you. Okay, and the only way to prevent that is to only do the streaks when you have about 20 tasks remaining. So that by the time you are done with the streaks, you're done with the contest of mayors, so you end with that decent score. The game doesn't have time to level you out. Now, it's rare that you start in reverse rotation, but if you do start in reverse rotation, do the best that you can to keep your points as high as possible while taking into consideration the streaks. Now, for high-level comp players, you guys are not going to experience this as often as low-level players, but I did put out a video yesterday for high-level comp players, and I haven't told many people this, but I am going to be playing comp competitively coming up here in the next, let's see, hang on just a second. Okay, so right now I am in Metro. Next week I'll be in Mega. Next week I will be playing comp competitively, and I'm going to be taking screenshots, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how a high-level player would play the contest. Okay? So a lot of times we talk about low-level players and not enough about high-level players, but we are going to be talking about high-level players because there are a lot of you guys out there, and there's a lot of techniques that you guys can use as well to boost up your ranking on the leaderboard. Alright, so aside from that, make sure that, let's say that you're playing the contest, you've got all 7 upgrades in your list, and you have about 37 tasks remaining. Does this mean that you automatically start doing the streaks because you have all 7 upgrades in your list? No, that's not what that means. You still need to make sure that you're doing them right around 20 tasks remaining, okay? So try to, rotate and utilize as much as you can and go from there. Now, a lot of the people in my group especially have been, winning each week, and they post their wins on our Facebook page. If you are wanting to join and do the training course, I am going to be offering 2 types of training courses, coming up. But basically, the one would consist of you taking screenshots, and you're going to do what the other people in my training course do. Basically, you make an album through Google Photos, you upload all of your screenshots to there, starting with your starting list and your task assessment, the same way that I did with the last walkthrough. Perfect example. So you set it up like that, and then I get notifications on my phone every time you add in a photo. I can go in there, comment, like the pictures, and tell you, what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, kind of grade it like that. Once you reach a certain point, then you'll be given the graduation test and see if you can, pass the first part of the graduation test. If you pass the first part, then you go into the next category of trying to pass the second part, and then once you do that, then you're graduated and you're done. Basically, you understand it and you can go about your merry way, and I can teach other people. So far, I've had one person graduate. Yeah, my co-president. So, I have a lot of people that are damn close to graduating, and they're so close. It seems like people do really, really, really well, and then they just kind of figure, well, I can win, so I guess I don't need to, learn everything perfect. I can just do what I need to get by. So, honestly, it really comes down to just memorizing the properties and everything like that. But with the new comm guide and the math system, it makes it so much easier to understand. So for those of you guys who haven't checked those videos out, check out the Contest Mayor's Math videos. They will make a huge, huge difference. Okay? All right, you guys. Good luck, and hopefully we get some halfway decent content coming up in the future.